The enterprises that are on the journey to becoming frontier and adopting AI the fastest, they're fully aligned at the leadership level.
Keith, Mai-Britt, welcome. Keith, we're hearing a lot about AI-first companies, but what does that actually mean in practice for consumers?
Yeah, Microsoft, we consider AI-first companies a frontier firm. And frontier firms are companies that are adopting AI across the value chain to the point where they eventually will become human-led and agent-operated. And they're doing it through these 4 pillars of enriching employee experiences, where they're making data available and putting it in the hands of their entire employee base at the moments that matter when they're trying to make a decision. The second is around reinventing consumer engagement, where they're helping consumers not just search for answers, but solve problems and connect that to products and services that build brand loyalty. Then there's reshaping business processes, where they're deploying agents alongside of humans, working side by side to solve real problems. And then eventually really bending the curve on innovation, which is kind of thinking about what's next. What are the new markets? What are the new products I can launch? What are the new customer segments I can target? So we're seeing frontier firms adopting AI through these kind of 4 filters. So for consumers, that's solving a lot of the friction that we've been dealing with, right? That's more availability of product on the shelf. That's new experiences. It's discovery of new brands you might not know of. It's just an overall better customer journey that we're going to see happen in the industry. And I'm really excited by that.
Mai-Britt, a lot of consumer companies are investing heavily in AI, but where are you seeing the clearest evidence that that's paying off?
So for consumer product companies, we see heavy investment into the pricing function, for example. So when it comes to price, promotion, assortment, portfolio decisions, that is where the product companies, the suppliers, are heavily invested. So that's the first way. We see many more examples in the retail space, and we often get the question why. Probably it's a more data-rich environment. It's also a more top-down central model versus a global company of brands that need to orchestrate through geographies and brands. In the retail space, it's also in the merch function, and it's labor scheduling, planning, etc. So we see many more use cases and reshaped journeys.
Yeah, I agree. I love the retail call out because I'll give you an example of Albert Heijn, the largest grocery chain in the Netherlands. They're deploying LLMs both in the digital part of their company and also the physical channel. In the digital channel, they have an assistant called Stein that helps us kind of solve that problem we all face every day, which what should I make for dinner tonight? And Stein allows their shoppers to take pictures of items in the refrigerator, and it will make recipe recommendations. And if there are gaps in the ingredients, Stein will gladly fill in those gaps and ship them to you at your house. And in the physical space, their frontline workers, their associates are using an LLM in the aisle to help shoppers make decisions and add items to the basket in real time. So it's very interesting how they're changing their complete customer experience that way.
To both of you, if you could give leaders, CEOs, just one piece of advice on AI right now, what would you say? Keith?
Every year at Microsoft, we do this Work Trends Index study, and we just got the latest results. And one of the pieces of information I found so interesting was only 26% of respondents say that their leadership inside their company is aligned on AI. So based on that, I would say my number one recommendation would be get aligned at the leaders, because the enterprises that are on the journey to becoming frontier and adopting AI the fastest, they're fully aligned at the leadership level.
Yeah, I would like to build on that.
Yeah.
Because what we see is there is a clear difference between those that are leading versus those that are experimenting. If I take those that are experimenting, I would say they have 1,000 flower blooming in the organization.
True.
So of course we need to provide the tools, and we want entrepreneurships with the employees. But if we really want to build an AI first and reshape, it requires top-down governance, prioritization, decision-making, right? So being very clear about what we call deploy, which is people experimenting, which is fine, versus true reshape. And then the most advanced frontier, they go to invention, reinvent. So new business models, new segments. So top-down, and it comes from the CEO and the exec team. Exactly as you said.
Yeah, totally agree.
Mai-Britt, Keith, thank you so much for your time.